Welcome to League and More. The NRL bubble has caused us to do Zoom calls, but Gavin Payne and myself, who are immune to everything, and I mean everything, are coming to you live here from Studio 30. Gav, last weekend, it wasn't pretty to watch, was it? The Tigers just didn't click.
It was hard viewing, mate, but they've got some reasonings behind that. I know John doesn't like to go into them too much to make excuses and so forth, and that's very commendable, but they're making some basic errors that I think he'd be quite frustrated with. But hopefully, there's always another game next week, so we can improve next week.
Speaking of next week, they take on the Burleigh Bears and put 50 on them early in the season. Be nice to repeat that, but the Burleigh Bears, I think since then, have sort of made every post to win, and they've gone up to fourth spot now.
I think they found a bit of form indeed since those days. It'll be hard to put 50 on them again, but I don't think John will want 50. He just wants a win.
Yeah. Colts, they had a bye last week, so Mark Gliddon and the boys, they travelled up to up north again, Central Queensland for another title. They're second on the ladder, one behind the Seagulls, so they want to keep that momentum going. So it'd be good to see the boys back out in the paddock. Yeah,
they're travelling along really well, the Colts. I'm very, very impressed with how they're going. John's got, Gliddo's got them obviously going really well as such. So just got to keep them going, keep their mind focused. Being young fellas, they can sort of wander a bit, I imagine. But no, they're going excellent. All
right, so on tonight's show, we have got John Buchanan via Zoom, as well as Mark Gliddon. We've also caught up with Jordan Grant and Aaron Booth, and you've also got a special guest. Now, this is you see at the bottom of the screen, you've got Suzuki, you've got Totally Workwear. These are all a couple of major sponsors, but one of the biggest ones we are very grateful for. You got a chance to talk to their general manager?
Yeah, general manager of the Leagues Club, Jan Broderick. So you got some interesting insights to where the club's going, where it's been, and the future of the relationship as well.
Yeah, actually tune into that. And in all seriousness, there's some big announcements here by Jan, and a lot of people are very happy with what direction that the Leagues Club is going to take. But anyway, we'll be back with more. We'll talk to JB, as I said, and a few of the others, and League and More. Back soon. Okay, League and More, we are isolated because of the hub. Langlands Park has been taken over by the NRL. JB, where are you guys forced to train now?
We're up at the old QE2 Stadium at Mount Gravatt. I suppose for people that will be familiar with where the Broncos played throughout the 90s, that's where we're based. We have been for the past week and will be for the next week at least.
Another disruption to the Tigers coaching, mate, for you. Got to change venues. Not ideal, mate. You're getting some pretty ordinary cards.
Oh, yeah, not really, mate. The facility up there is world-class, to be honest. The fields, I think we've probably got the best field in Brisbane, but the field up there is probably in better nick than ours due to they don't have a lot of traffic on it. Yep. And the gym up there, the government had just poured a hell of a lot of money into the facilities up there, and the gym's only been open a week, so it's probably the best in the country, to be honest. We just thought, obviously, we've been doing it really tough. And then when the NRL were looking to, obviously a training venue for a number of teams, and they put it to us, we just felt it was probably not a bad option for us to try and freshen our players up a little bit and see if we could maybe turn our season around just with a new, a different feel, I suppose. And
yeah, all right.
Yeah, look, we trained well last week up there, to be honest. But yeah, again, mate, we're getting ourselves in position in games and we just can't finish them off.
Don't understand why the NRL didn't go to Nathan. That's just me saying they just kick you guys out of your own house. But anyway, that's the way it goes.
Yeah. To be fair to the NRL, mate, I think up at that facility there's still a number of athletes that are going to the Olympics that are training there.
Oh, okay.
And so the NRL needed a sole base that could be a quarantine hub that would only facilitate the NRL bubble, I suppose, player staff. So that's the reason we were happy to accommodate teams here and stay in our facility. But that's the reason we've gone up there. They need to be the sole occupant of this facility at the moment. So, yeah, as I said, it's hasn't been a big inconvenience at all, mate.
Right. Craig didn't take your desk? That's where you draw the line?
No, mate, no. Yeah, look, everyone's been keeping a distance. We've been saying hello to them.
They're like weapons.
15 metres away, but, yeah, we haven't had a lot to do with them.
All right, not a happy day up there. You hinted about it last week, that the Capras were one loss closer to a win, and they got that against you last week. We could go into depth, but you mentioned at the top of the show that you just didn't quite keep going with the situation you were in. You let it get away from you.
Yeah, look, everyone keeps going, asking questions around, why we're not finishing games and, all different aspects, whether we're, are we fit enough? Are we this? Are we that?
Had the answer, you'd apply it, wouldn't you? See, simple. Yeah.
It's at the end of the day, we're not handling momentum swings in the game really well, and we haven't pretty much all year, to be fair. Again, on the weekend, I think we led 16-12 and had a player put in the sin bin. And then they had a player sent off. And in that first 20 minutes that player was off the field, we had the ball twice. I think we ran into touch on the third play. So, again, we're not handling those situations well for one reason or another. Nothing in particular that we can sort of pinpoint. But, look, I don't want to take anything away from the Capras, to be fair.
They're a good side, totally. Yeah.
They were a better team than us on the day. They ran harder, and they probably tackled harder than us at different stages as well, and they thoroughly deserved to beat us.
Yeah, they had nothing to lose. Mate, you're up against Burling. According to the draw, it's on Friday night. Short turnaround.
Yeah, it is. Again, it is what it is. It's the weekend of the Brisbane lockdown there a few weeks back. It's the catch-up game. It's Friday night. It wouldn't matter if it was Saturday, Sunday, mate. We need to turn up to play, and we'll be preparing this week. It is a short turnaround, but it won't hurt us. You
beat them, put 50 on last time. That was a long time ago. A lot of stuff's happened since then, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, mate. I mean, that's as you said, it's a long time ago. There's probably only 4 blokes in our side that played that day, to be honest. I think for us at the moment, it's about making sure we put in a performance that we can feel proud of as a club. Particularly defensively. Look, Burley are a really good team, and they've been on a roll for pretty much since we beat them that day. So I think they've only lost 1 game since then. So, look, at home down there, they're going to be extremely tough to beat. They're going to be obviously, I'd imagine it'll be raised this week in their little environment that last time they played us, we did do a good job on them. So, we're under no illusions what we're heading into, but we're just sort of focusing on putting in a really good performance as a group ourselves.
So let's take the 2 points out of JB. Are you just basically looking for the full 80 minutes of full footy? If the result doesn't go your way, so be it, but that's what you're chasing is the full 80, run harder than the other guys, out-enthuse the other guys. You mightn't get the points, but you just want all those 4 areas to go for the full 2 halves.
Yeah, exactly. I think, all the little effort areas and just, our physicality around our contact and, wanting to run with real good intent. And, I think if we can do that, then we're going to be in any contest. So, and we've proven that this year while we haven't been getting the results. I think we've led something like 8 out of our 12 games at half time, and some of them we've led, even with 10 minutes to go. So it's not, apart from probably 2 games that I can recall this year, we haven't been blown off the park too often. And, it's just hanging in the battle and being better in those I suppose, big moments in games when you need to be. And that's not any one person in our footy team. That's, collectively as a group. We may have a winger who, runs out on play 3. Well, that's just not good enough if we're going to hand the ball over. Or, we may have a middle forward who looks for an offload when it's not really on. Or, that's what we're not handling at the moment.
And that builds, I don't know, I suppose you lose your mojo when those sort of things happen back-to-back. Unforced errors, they call them in tennis, and your head's down and all of a sudden you've got the opposition taking advantage of those mistakes. JB, with the hub, I don't know, we touched on it a little bit. Is there any opportunity for some of those players to get a run with the Tigers or any of the Intrust Super Cup clubs that are aligned with the NRL clubs?
Yeah, look, I spoke to Melbourne this morning, and they're not. There's nothing being confirmed at this stage. I think everything will be governed probably a little bit around the number of cases that are in the community. I suppose over the next week or so. Yep. I don't think the NRL can afford to risk if there's community cases. Yeah. Allowing the players to be back socialising, as normal. So, look, I don't have a definite answer. I know there was some talk around maybe the bubble gets lifted next Wednesday, so tomorrow week. But, nothing has been confirmed at this stage. If that's the case, I'm hoping that we, I'll be able to get some players back for our last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, it's even with the restrictions, rugby league players seem to find a way to breach the rules and get everybody in trouble. So don't give them a lifeline. See what happens. All right, JB, listen to you. Burleigh Bears, they're a top 4 side now. They rolled the Manly last week. And as you said, they've been on a roll since last week's last time you guys played them 50 to I can't remember. It doesn't matter really. So, but this weekend was supposed to be your bye, mate. So the lawn doesn't get cut. You don't get to go in here. What's going to go? What happens there? Well, you got a weekend. You got to play Friday night, haven't you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Normally, if I play Burleigh down there, I normally do stay down there the weekend. But, I got a little bit on this weekend. I'm getting to watch my young fella play a bit of footy. And, I'm sure I'll fill in time, mate, or my wife will make sure I fill in time.
Should there be more Friday night games?
I think they could probably look at it. I think it's probably it's going to be challenging for us to get to Burleigh. It's, as you know, going down that M1 on a Friday afternoon is a nightmare, which is our concern. We're probably more giving our players a weekend off, so get the game out the way. But I think locally, it'd be a good idea. Maybe us and Wynnum or us and North, so I think that'd be okay. But probably you wouldn't want to be doing it against the Gold Coast teams or travelling. Yeah.
Well, it's the end of the thing. There's going to be more coverage. There'll be 3 games streamed on the weekends, and that's something for the hierarchy to believe in. All right, JB, you look all rugged up. All the best on Friday night. All the best on the weekend with the footy. Yeah, it's a good, and you're probably touching on something Friday night footy for you and the players because they don't get to see their kids to play sport on the weekend. So it's an opportunity for players to get away from footy and see their kids play on the weekends if they play more Friday night footy. So I know people watch the Broncos and all that sort of stuff if you like to see Stephen King movies. So it might be a bad idea.
Yeah, no, I think, as I said, I reckon you can definitely look at it for the Brisbane-based sort of teams. I think you'd probably find you get a decent crowd for Friday night footy if it was a local derby.
Yeah.
Us and South or us and North or whatever, it'd be good.
And then head into the beat wherever you like to go on a Friday night. So there you go.
Very good.
All right, Jamie.
Thanks.
You're not denying that.
Mate, I don't think I've been in that place for about 30 years, so there you go.
Chuck Gliddon on. Thank you, sir.
I will. Thanks, mate.
All right, Gliddon is part of Hastings Deering. Well, he's the head coach of Hastings Deering's Colts side that are sitting second on the ladder, 1 point behind Winner Manly, but that's another story. this weekend you're up against North after a weekend off. Gliddon, how are the boys? How do you think the boys will go this week? They'll be fresh?
Yeah, mate. We're actually playing Rockhampton, Central Queensland up in Rocky. So I don't know where you got your info from, John. So,
I got a draw. Anyway, because the draw's mixed around. I beg your pardon. Yes,
it's all good. So we're up in Central Queensland on Sunday. We're a curtain raiser to Redcliffe versus the Capras. So I don't think they've lost a game at home, the Capras. So I reckon they'll be going in quietly confident. So I think it'll be nice and tough for us. We're probably fresh, but we're a little wounded in areas. We've got a few missing here and there, a few playing cup, but that's no excuse. From 1 to 17, we pick's got a job to do, and I have no doubt if we get up there and have the right attitude, we hopefully bring home the 2 points with us.
So you're going back up to Central Queensland, mate. Obviously, you left it the way you found it after being there last weekend.
Well, we were in Gladstone last weekend. We went up there golfing a few players and did some development work up there Friday, Saturday, and then hung around for obviously the Intrust Super Cup game on the Sunday. So nice place, Gladstone. Really enjoyed it. So we get to go away again. And my wife's loving it. She don't have to put up with me 2 weekends in a row. So.
Yeah, well, I know what she's talking about right now because you're over there and I'm. No. Hey, listen. So how do you go with training tonight? Do you just get straight in fitness wise, get a couple of those meat pies off from the last couple of weeks, or do you just are they still fit enough and get straight back into skills and stuff?
We give them a fair touch-up last Thursday night. They didn't train over the weekend, but they're a pretty hard-working group, so I have no doubt they would have done a little bit on the weekend as individuals. Tonight it'd be more con games and then some skill stuff and some weights. So I've got a few changes this week due to different reasons, so I'll have to probably do a little bit of ball work tonight, a bit of left-on-right stuff. So we'll see how we go, mate.
Any players coming back?
No. Okay. I've lost young Justin Smith, who just come back from a compound fracture of his thumb, broke his other thumb at work. So as you can imagine, I'm quite pleased about that. So anyway, it is what it is. I think he got operated on yesterday, so I'll see him tonight and we'll find out where he's at with that one.
He doesn't work at a bomb disposal unit or anything like that. It's a bit dodgy, doesn't it?
He's Frank Spencer. He wouldn't know who Frank Spencer is, but that's what I'm calling him at the moment. So anyway, it is what it is. Nothing we can do about it. It's out of our control. So someone else gets an opportunity in there and we get on with it.
Right. Yeah, well, for those who don't know who Frank Spencer is, just some others do have him. Is that what it was?
Correct. 100% correct.
And funny to see, he had the best voice I've ever heard in an opera, Michael Crawford. So that's another story. Hey, obviously, you had a weekend off last week yourself. Footy, you probably went and watched some stuff. I just spoke to JB about Friday night footy. Is that something that you'd like to see for your young blokes?
Oh, mate, I actually heard you talking to John about that. Yeah, well, it wouldn't worry me, but again, I think it's got to be handled properly. You've got to be playing someone local. You don't want to be travelling to Burleigh or the Sunshine Coast or Tweed Heads. Right? So it was between, as he said, between Wynnum and us or whoever it may be that's local. Even Redcliffe, you could probably get away with that.
Yeah.
I think it's a tough one for our cup boys this week to get down there by, I think John will 6 o'clock or whatever it is, especially if there's any accidents on that M1, you're in all sorts.
Yeah. So you're not driving down there first?
I won't be going down there. We're actually training Friday night. So.
Oh, really? So, okay, so you got 3 runs.
Yeah, we're trained tonight. We're trained Thursday night and then over at the QE2, and then Friday night I'll take the boys down the East Juniors and we're trained there.
Yeah, JB mentioned the pretty good facilities there at Nathan.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, the gym's outstanding. The actual field itself is like carpet. It's
what are
really
they using?
Good. Yeah, I really don't know. We were worried about tearing their field up, and the people up there have basically said, "Look, our ground staff probably looking at a bit of a challenge now. They haven't had to do too much lately, so it's really good actually."
Do they play sport on there at all, or just have rock concerts there?
They couldn't. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a waste of a good venue there. So I know you wouldn't. It's a pretty big stadium. Obviously, a crowd look pretty tiny there, but if it's nice and grassy, you give Langlands a bit of a break and see how you go. All right, Gliddon. All the best for your travels again this weekend. I'm sure the staff at Domestic will be looking at you with 2 eyes and flanked by a couple of security guards, which is, got nothing to do with COVID. It's all right. And anybody who's looking for any Qantas headsets, Mark Wynn's got about 68 of them, still in their wrappers.
Yeah. So anyway, it's all good. Looking forward to the challenge.
Good on you, Gliddon. All the best, mate. Second spot on the ladder. Maintain it with a win this weekend, and hopefully no injuries, man.
Let's hope so. Thanks, JD.
Thanks for that.
Okay, welcome to League More. A very special guest because of the NRL bubble. We've got some of the Storm affiliated players camped here in Queensland. None other than Aaron Booth joins me from Noosa. Aaron, welcome to Queensland, mate. You're stuck here for a while. You're going to have your mail sent here. You'll be able to vote here and everything. How have you liked the Queensland weather?
It's been good, mate. It was we were actually up here not too long ago as well, so we got used to it and then flew back into cold Melbourne winter. Pretty frozen back there, so getting back up here was nice, although we didn't get to play home games there, so it would have been nice to do that. But definitely I'm a coastal boy at heart, so definitely like being up at Noosa in the sunshine. So
yeah, because you're born in Sydney, but you grew up in Brunswick Heads, so and played for Mullumbimby, so you know all about the Mullumbimby,
not Mullumbimby. That was the rival.
Yeah. So you love the ocean. So Noosa's not too bad.
Yeah. It's definitely reminds me a bit of home. It's nice beaches and it's good to just walk around in not a hoodie at this time of night. It's good.
You look normally you used to look like a bit of a beach goer. Now you've lost your hair. You've done that for a great cause, mate. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So a few weeks back, it was for the Melbourne Storm. They got a charity partner, the Starlight Foundation. So they did a round based around them. So I was just more than happy to jump on board, and we come up with the idea that I'd shave the locks and get rid of the hair to raise some money. So we actually raised about a little over 26,000 in the end. So
wow.
It was lucky that week. So we did the donations based on. So someone could pledge $10 per try, and that week the boys went out and scored 12 tries. It was against the Tigers, so it was a good win. So everyone was putting in a little bit more money, which got that number up. But yeah, it was all worth it. It went to a good cause, and because some of those kids at the moment are can't have family in that visiting them in the hospital due to COVID. So it's well worth it in the end.
Playing hooker, mate. Does it make it a little bit easier at the ruck to see where you're going?
Yeah, it does actually. I used to have to tie it up, strap it up, whatever, get it out of my face. But it's I'm still actually finding I go to do it and then realise I don't need to anymore. So it's still just muscle memory at the moment, but I'm getting used to it. It's good.
Any thought of adopting a Christian Welsh look?
Nah. I'm not so clear looking like that.
No amount of money's going to make you do that. No, fair enough. Mate, in 2011 you started Cyril Connell. You also played for the Melbourne Inga Cup. Rugby League always been what you've played?
It was once I got to that age.
Yep. Before then?
In the Cyril Connell at about 15. I did always want to play footy. I've always said I wanted to be a footy player since I was a very young kid. But I actually played soccer till I was about 12, 11 or 12. I did a bit of whatever, but I didn't start. I think under 12s was my first year of actually playing footy. Mm-hmm. But I was playing footy with my mates in the backyard, and that was always what I wanted to do. I don't know why. I think it was my parents pushed me towards soccer to start with, and then once I transitioned, it was all I had my eyes on from probably about 12 or 13 or so.
And you played up in Northern Rivers then? Footy?
I played for the Mullum Giants.
Yep.
And I had all my juniors there into my seniors, and then before I moved down to Sydney. But it was good. We had a good bunch of mates all playing together. They're still my mates now, and a few of us have kicked on to play NRL. There's Jack Ojaski, he was part of my teams growing up, and a few other boys that went on and played some good rep teams as well. So we had a pretty good team back home. It's some good memories back there.
All right. You went to South, but we'll move forward. 2017, Mackay Cutters, Intrust Super Cup. 2017, was Kim Williams still there then?
No, it was Steve Shepherd.
Steve Shepherd. Yep.
His first year there, so.
How did you enjoy the Intrust Super Cup and the style of play here? Obviously, there's a lot of travel.
Yeah, it was good. It was, again, like similar to my younger days, we had a good group of boys in the squad, and we had, obviously travelling every second week up there. Pretty much is how it works out. It was good. It brings everyone together. It was a lot of us boys had come from like other states or towns or whatever. So we sort of just banded together and we were a good bunch of mates. And again, still mates now and still playing with a few of those boys now, actually, which is pretty cool. Bennett Leslie was part of that team. We actually, played 2 years in Mackay together, came to East at the same time and been at East for a few years now. So we've been playing together for a while and it was good. It was good to get up into the Queensland Cup. I'd been in Sydney for a long time before that. So it was, definitely more physical and more team-orientated sort of footy. So definitely enjoyed my time in Queensland.
Yeah, Bennett Leslie's got a big following up here. A lot of girls scream, "We love you, Bennett," all that sort of stuff. There's little face masks they wear. You know, they got hair growing, even girls, some of the boys. He's a bit of a cult following up here, Bennett Leslie. Yeah, he's delicious. Mate, 2019, COVID obviously struck, but you signed with the Melbourne Storm and also obviously being affiliated here with the Brisbane Tigers. Melbourne Storm, an iconic club, as are the Brisbane Tigers. You must be pretty, chuffed about that.
Yeah, it's really a cool experience to be a part of two such sort of rich history clubs. Come into East. Well, when I was choosing to leave Mackay, at the end of 2018, I had a few opportunities to go to a few different clubs, and as soon as East come up, it was sort of, I actually had a list of where I would like to go.
Yep.
East was at the top of that list at the start, and it wasn't for a couple of months after that they actually got back to me. That was when Sips was still there, so he got back to me, and I dropped everything else that I had going because I was definitely interested and keen to get to East. So I'm definitely glad I made that decision. I had a few good years as a part-timer playing there, and then obviously gave me the opportunity to come down here in the pre-season a couple of years ago, and I've been full-time since and still playing with East, so I'm getting the best of both worlds at the moment. It's definitely happy with that decision to come to East originally, and it's I pinch myself playing for two such prestigious sort of clubs.
We talked about you being in the bubble and Melbourne Storm. A lot of players are further away from anybody else. You're obviously stuck in Noosa, but you probably think about people who are doing service overseas. You got to do 6 months away from family and friends and all that sort of stuff. It's still a job, is it? Is that the way you try and get yourself through this crisis at the moment? It's a job that you're getting paid to do, and it's hard, but you've got the ability to talk to your family and friends like Zoom and this sort of stuff. But how tough is it? It's obviously you're like I won't say caged environment, but it's very restrictive, isn't it?
It is pretty restricted. I'm not going to say it's all that tough. I know I'm speaking for myself here. Some of the families that have like kids away from the group and everything like that, I know that they are doing it pretty tough, but like obviously we're getting looked after, we're still able to work, so there's a lot of people in, like you said, harder situations doing it a little bit tougher, but not being able to just go down the shop and things like that, you do feel pretty claustrophobic, I suppose.
Yep.
But we're getting looked after, we're being looked after the majority of the time, so it's still, I just like to look at it as an experience. Like I'm not going to probably be doing something like this too often in my life, so I might as well just enjoy what's being thrown at me at the moment. It's put up challenges, but just trying to jump over them, and it's also brought me, like I got a debut through this period, and a few games together now. So it's all it's been highs and lows, but it's not all bad.
So then my next question, since you've been in confined spaces, let's go through the roommates and the team people around you. Who is absolutely giving you the irrits right now? Who was the biggest pest who you thought was a nice, quiet sort of a guy, and now you just want to go and slap him? Anyone?
Harry Grant, he's good for...
Harry?
bit of Vaseline on the doorknobs and things like that. So he's got me a couple of times. I've gone to open a door and then I've got...
Well, that's funny, depending on where the Vaseline was beforehand.
Yeah. So that was a surprising one. I didn't think he was like that, but he's got me a few times like that. Probably just like the boys I get on close with, because we play a lot of cards and things like that. And we're all quite competitive sort of dudes. So we end up in arguments quite often over cards and ping pong, things like that. So, yeah, it's more, no one's really annoying. It's just the competitive side of everyone comes out when we're around each other a whole lot. So it's more arguments about who's winning and losing.
All right. Any other games? Is there games that are banned, like, say, Monopoly or Twister?
They haven't come out. It's more
Who
500.
Who would win Twister?
I do a bit of yoga, so I'm pretty flexible. I reckon I'd be up there.
All good. Mate, if Monopoly, though, so obviously there'd be somebody who's very good with real estate. Who would that be?
One of the highest. Nico Hines from next year, but
Okay.
I'm not sure at the moment. I would like to be. I'd like to be.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up quickly, but the Melbourne Storm obviously going quite well at the moment, and hopefully that will continue on. And obviously with the some of the injuries coming down to the Brisbane Tigers, we'd like to see some of you guys have a bit of a run around here with the Brisbane Tigers. Hopefully sooner rather than later. You guys want to play as much football as you can. You don't want to be in a hotel or anything like that, Aaron. So hopefully we get it all sorted here in COVID, get the masks off and get you guys out playing footy.
Yeah, that's what we're all hoping for here as well. I know the NRL are trying to get us back there, because obviously, especially at East, we need to start winning some games, and it'd be good to get a little run into the finals and still make that cut. So we're all looking forward to getting back as soon as possible if they can, the logistics can work out. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the Tigers fans want something more to scream about other than Bennett Leslie running out in the field.
Yeah.
Do you think you reckon he'd be able to sell, some sort of what do you call it, hair product?
Bennett, he could, yeah.
The face
he could.
Old Spice?
Garnier or something. What are the? Yes. We should do a little Tigers Garnier collab.
I think you might be onto something there, but I think we'll go your halves. All right, mate. Listen, thanks very much for your time. We'll let you go. All the best with your career. Obviously, there's a lot more there. Obviously, playing for Queensland. playing for whoever you want, New South Wales, of course. Higher honours are obviously something you want to strive for. You're only 25 years of age, mate. Appreciate your time. You're a great young man. Well done. Thank you for the charity. That's a wonderful fundraising for Starlight, and it's a credit to you guys. And to be perfectly honest, Aaron, the trouble with the media these days, they look at the bad side rugby league players and they don't highlight what you guys really do that's really good for the community. It was a bit disappointing, but I'm glad you told us about that, and thank you, sir.
Jada, I appreciate you having me on, and hopefully we see that, I can get back and play some games for the Tigers soon.
Good on you, mate. Thanks, Aaron.
Cheers.
Back to League and More. We've got Melbourne Storm player and with us now, Jordan Grant. Jordan, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I know you're in lockdown as such and in your isolation and looking forward to getting out and playing some games. So I believe this is you joined the East Tigers this year did you look at that as a bit of an opportunity to get into the Melbourne system as well, or was it just a change of scenery as such?
It was a change of scenery, but more so to get into the Melbourne system. I was at a point in my career last year. It was a big decision of mine because obviously Redcliffe had been good for me throughout my playing career, and I helped Adam Mogg, the coach there, helped me develop into the player I am today as well. And having that year off last year, made me be in the mindset that obviously I trained throughout that whole time, and coming into this year, and because I had no football behind me, and obviously I'm getting to, I feel like I'm almost 27 now, and I felt like the next step in my career, I felt like I needed to challenge myself and actually back myself, and because I know I'd done a bit of work throughout that off season, throughout last year, and coming into this year. I had Nico and Boothie into my ear, because they've obviously been down here for a few years, and they said, mate, you need to come down here. You fit in well, and like you'd fit in well with the culture and the boys and like the playing style. So once JB gave me that call and offered me the preseason to the Melbourne, I took it straight away, mate. And obviously I knew doing it was obviously a bit daunting at the start, but coming down here, I just wanted to take myself out of my comfort zone and see what I actually see where I could actually go with it and back myself, and it's paid off.
You mentioned Boothie and Nico Hines. Did you know them before you came to the Tigers and to Melbourne?
Yeah, mate, we've had a great relationship for 3 or so years. So I'd call them my best mates virtually. So in 2018, I moved to Mackay, and Nico Hines and Aaron they were already up there a year prior. So I moved up there, not knowing them at the time, and we moved in with each other because originally I had another fellow I played with at West Tigers the year before, and he had moved in there, and he gave me a call, and the Mackay Cutters coach gave me a call. I sort of at the time didn't know what I wanted to do with my career, and I hadn't moved out of home or anything like that or really challenged myself. So got the call and went up there, and I sort of year prior to that in 2017, I didn't play my best football, and I sort of wanted to, challenge myself also and move out of home for the first time and see how that would go. And moving in with Nico and Boothie, we got on like a house on fire straight away, and it's built the connection that we have today. And
you mentioned home. Home is where?
Home. So I grew up. I'm a Western Sydney kid out there. I grew up in a suburb called St Clair and St Mary's. So I played my juniors out there at a club called St Clair Comets. So my family's all out there. I'm the only one, I guess, in Melbourne, or you could say in Queensland now. So, yeah, I grew up out there and played most of my juniors out there. And so, yeah.
And so you came through in your senior career, you mentioned West, and then up to Mackay and so forth, and then back down to Redcliffe. So you've been a bit of a journeyman looking for that opportunity, I suppose, to show your wares? Yeah, mate. I've always been, trying to chase that dream, and ever since I was a kid, and I've always told myself no matter where I am sort of thing, I've always wanted to develop myself as a player and challenge myself and consistently chasing that dream. Obviously, I never wanted to give it up. There was definitely many times where I wanted to give the game away, and there was definitely tough times through many setbacks and not being selected in different teams. And, obviously coaches had different views of me and stuff like that. But I knew in my head if I kept doing the work and, keep, playing good footy each year and doing that, I knew the opportunity would come eventually, and that opportunity has come, and I've taken it with both hands, and I'm grateful for the Storm to being able to see something in me and believing in me, and giving me that chance to make my NRL debut. Well, it's not only them seeing the value in you, but it's you proving to them that you deserve to be there. And you made your debut, as you just mentioned, last weekend. So congratulations on that. How was that experience? Yeah, mate, it's been unreal, man. It's just I found out on captain's run, and literally Belzer pulled me aside prior to captain's run, and he mentioned that I could be making my NRL debut. So he said, don't get too excited yet, but obviously I was freaking jumping out of my skin straight away. He said, we'll name the squad after training. So jump in, do the captain's run, and sub in and out of the first grade team, and then we'll make the decision. So once the training finished, he pulled everyone in a huddle and then named the squad. And then he said on the bench, making his NRL debut, which would be me. And then I couldn't explain the emotions running through. At the time, it was just pretty emotional for myself, because I knew that, I've worked my whole life. It's taken me almost 27 years to get in. It's just such a good feeling to actually be recognised for, obviously the hard work, and, they can see that I have the potential, I guess, to take it to that next level, and they backed me, and I back myself. So, but not only that, I've had the players around me to believe in me also, which has helped me. It's it's not a one-man team sort of thing. So I've had so much support around me continually, like Boothie, Nico, mate. They've been outstanding in my career, and we have that honest relationship where we like to tell each other what we need to work on and what we need to do and to get to that next level. So it's really good to have them. And
all those people around me and the support throughout the years.
So with your excitement at making the debut, who was the first person that you told?
I rang my dad and he didn't answer first, and I rang my mum and she was emotional. She was crying, and it was just a good feel. I had a few people to ring, obviously the close ones and the ones that mean the most to me. So that was my mum first, and she was pretty hysterical. She didn't believe me. Both my parents didn't believe me, actually. They just thought I was pulling their leg, and then Dad rang me back, and then he was bawling his eyes out, and they just know, what kind of work and how much sacrifice has been put into the journey. So it's been unreal, mate.
It would have been disappointing that they couldn't actually be here, I imagine, to witness that debut in person.
Yeah, it was sort of bittersweet as well. Obviously, my dream coming true, and that was such a good feeling. But them not being there in the flesh of it, having my family and my close ones, which sucked due to the circumstances due to COVID. But I guess I look at it as in like they haven't been to a game, so that makes me want to work even harder to get selected in the team, so they can come watch me play, and that'll be my mindset going forward.
Who was the jersey presentation done by, mate?
So the jersey presentation, which was done, obviously the night of the when I got selected, it was done by Robbo here. He said a pretty good speech towards me, I guess, with the jersey presentation, and it made me pretty emotional. And then I got up and had a bit of a spill as well. And I said to Boothie and Nico, I said, mate, when I get up and speak, I usually don't remember what I say because it rolls off the top of your head. So it was a pretty emotional experience, and it's something I'll never forget.
In the reserves this week, I noticed, so hopefully getting another late call-up?
I'm not too sure at the moment, mate. It's obviously, whatever the coaches think that needs to be done with the win. I'm grateful to be even just part of the 30-man squad here. So even if I'm named in the reserves, I'll make sure I'm ready to play if I get selected. So
hopefully that becomes the case. In lockdown now, it's obviously a different experience with where you've been and what's happened in the past. So how are you handling that? How are you passing the time when you're not at training?
Yeah, well, it's my first lockdown really. So when I moved to Melbourne, we could only go to training and go buy essentials and literally stay in your household. Even though we were together at training, we couldn't actually go to one of those houses. So I was living down in Melbourne with Nico and Boothie and Boothie's partner there. So we were just locked in there. We couldn't really do anything. So there was a few card games going on. You can ask Nico and Boothie, but Boothie will probably deny it. I was the number one in the household, mate. So he will definitely deny that. But up here, I can hear him yelling out.
he just said in his interview that he was the best.
No, see, that's where he's going wrong, mate. But being here in Noosa, it's been really good. It's a bit sunny up here. Melbourne's a bit cold. I don't mind the cold, but being up here, it's been a lot easier because we can get out and about. We can actually bond together and spend a bit of time with each other in our downtime. So we just had a big training there now, and we're relaxing, and we got to get some dinner soon. And after that, we can actually, hang around each other and spend some time with each other, which is good.
So in the lockdown situation, you're obviously getting to know some of your teammates really closely. Who's the bigger nuisance?
Oh, the biggest nuisance. I would have to say, that's a good question.
Be very careful because he might be one of your competitors for your position.
The biggest nuisance I would have to say would be, me, Aaron and Nico, we always get stuck into each other. So it's either out of those two. So it's non-stop back and forth. And maybe
a safe option there.
And maybe a young fella called Trent, we always get stuck into each other. But no, it's all fun and games. It's all banter. So it's that's how we keep each other on our toes and get a bit of a laugh out of the situation we're in. So it's good.
Yeah, look, you play the toughest position in the sport in the front row. I admire anyone who gets in there amongst the forwards. There's some big boys running around these days, and they seem to be getting bigger and bigger year by year. So congratulations on making your debut. Hopefully we'll see you in many more games going forward. And thanks again for joining us this afternoon on League.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. I appreciate being on the show and having a chat. Thank you.
Got it, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Welcome back to League and More. I'm joined by General Manager of the East Leagues Club, Jan Broderick. Jan, you've
been at the club for a little while, I understand. So can you just tell us about your role there previously and how you succeeded into the GM role?
Yeah, so I started at the club at 2012, firstly in the marketing division, and then sort of worked my way up to operations, assistant general manager, and then late last year was appointed as the general manager.
Wonderful, mate. So what's your background? Where have you come from prior to that?
Well, as you can hear with my very solid Australian accent, I am from South Africa originally. I've always been in the gaming and casino industry. Then left South Africa many years ago to take up a role in Gibraltar in the online gaming industry. Worked a little bit in Canada, also in the Caribbean, always in gaming. Yep. And then finally relocated to Australia, where I was involved at the Treasury Casino, and then started at East soon after that.
So with your history overseas and coming to Australia, were there any little nuances or differences in the way that things were regulated?
Yeah, I think there's always differences in all the different jurisdictions. There seems to be a little bit more freedom in some of the countries, but then again, there isn't responsible aspect when it comes to gaming specifically. So, Australia's got very good responsible gaming policies, and it's happy to and good to work in that sort of environment as well.
Yeah. So coming back to your role at East, you now the general manager there. So what challenges did you have when coming into that role? I knew the previous GM as well a little bit. So what did you need to look at initially when you first came into the role?
Well, I think being in the lucky position to be in the club already and really understanding the culture, I didn't have too much that I would say I found very difficult. It was most probably the adaptation from sort of the buck stops with you more than anything else. Yep. But it was it wasn't a very difficult role to step into. I think just because I was so ingrained in the operations before.
And obviously you've got some staff underneath you. How do they support you?
Yeah, so obviously we had a bit of a shift in staff over the time period as well. So I've got an assistant general manager that's very, very supportive, and also CFOs have been with the club for a long period of time. Both of them are absolutely wonderful in terms of getting and understanding the goals and where we're heading.
You're probably settled now, if I can say that, after 12 months or so in the role. You've got a future plan. What are you looking at initially soon to do, and then your bigger plan going forward for the club?
Well, I think the club has been very, very successful. So I think part of it is to continue building on that success. So, you don't always want to reinvent the wheel completely. If you've got a good structure and a solid operational strategy. I think what I would like to do, though, is just to make sure that we are still looking after the marketing. The marketing in the area the market itself in the area is evolving and changing. Different demographics are coming into the area, maybe a little bit of a younger market as well. And I think what we need to do is just making sure that we adjust the club so that we look at the broader market and continue to look at that broader market as it changes, so change with the market as well. There's developments in the city, as we all know, with the upcoming casino on that side there as well. I do think that coexisting with that the casino is very important. Thinking of the strategic plans and how you're going to coexist and how you're going to adjust your business. We can always pride ourselves on the service that we provide at the club. And I think, continue to build on that is what's going to carry us through going forward.
You mentioned that conversation, adjusting to meet the market and so forth. What are you looking for to do there specifically?
So, we are looking at introducing new facilities at the club as well. Mm-hmm. So part and parcel of that is bringing in a new sports bar. That sports bar, I think, would be a great alignment with the football and the football games at the club as well. I think in the past we most probably saw a lot of people attending games and then disappearing afterwards. Yes. We would most probably want to have them back in the club, supporting the club as the club supports the football team as well, and creating that facility for them as well. So it's just creating that environment where everybody feels comfortable and it's a little bit more of a modern environment as well.
It's really interesting you say that, because back in my era, which is many, many years ago, we had a sporting bar as such, and as the club grew, it sort of went out of style and became a true leagues club rather than what I would call a quasi little football club associated with it as well. So it's an interesting comment that you say that you're trying to get that sports bar back again. I think that's a really positive step forward as far as the club's concerned.
Yeah, look, I think that with sports bars, the trend of sports bars do have their ups and downs. We're definitely seeing an era where sports bars are coming back into life. But I wouldn't only want to describe it as a sports bar. I'd most probably want to describe it as a little bit of an entertainment destination in itself as well. So we've been always serving the market very well with our concerts and our bands and so forth, but we have been targeting a certain demographic. With a sports bar, we want to try and see if we can further stretch that into maybe a slightly younger demographic as well. And then also start hosting, other than just the football, other sports events. UFC, for instance, is becoming really big and well supported. The market in that sort of boxing environment has changed from the old days where the boxing started to happen around the screen, not only in the boxing ring. So we're seeing a good sort of following around that. And I think it really is time for us to put ourselves on the map as not just a club, but really change that perception to being a destination.
So am I hearing there that you would host sporting events like UFC and something at the club in some way?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we would definitely be doing that. We have, in the last year, started hosting a couple of those events, and they've been very successful. However, we have found that the environment's not quite suitable for it yet, as you would know. Creating the right atmosphere and the right look and feel that in terms of the bar would definitely drive that a lot better as well.
Quite interesting concept. I'll
definitely
look forward to seeing how that develops.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, getting back, the football club here is another part of the environment. How's the leagues club, other than trying to get those football patrons and players back into the club as you've just described, how does the leagues club interact with the footy club outside of that?
Look, we are obviously a key sponsor for the football club as well, and I think that there's a very close relationship between myself and Brian Thorpe specifically, where we're trying to not only get people into the club after a game, but also get our involvement on the football side before the matches happens, and have more of a presence on that side as well. We often discuss different tactics from a social media perspective and how we can enhance each other's profiles, and I think that is something that will be ongoing as well.
Last question. What's your one goal going forward in the next 12 months?
Look, the club, I'd like to see the club as I said before, I've got several goals. It's a little bit hard to choose which one is my favourite one, but I'd most probably say the club has always been a great club. I'd like it to become an absolutely fantastic destination. So whether you are, no matter what age bracket, we would like to be able to offer you something when you visit us that's uniquely different to what you can find elsewhere.
I lied. One other thing, just a comment probably with the Firehawks bid as well. Obviously, that's quite exciting and would bring another aspect to the folk that would be attending the club. So that's quite interesting, and that's got to develop yet also. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, we're great support for the Firehawks bid. I think like everybody else, we've got our fingers crossed and waiting for that announcement to be made. What it would mean for us is we'd most probably become the nest for the Firehawk, and we're looking forward to do that.
Nice play on words.
That's it.
Jan, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon here on League and More. Appreciate that, and look forward to catching up with you in the bar, perhaps for a beer in the sports bar.
Sounds good.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much.
No way to stop League and More, even a little bit of COVID. We're able to get in touch with some of the players and the coaches. And this weekend they're playing in the Burleigh Bears. Friday night football, I mentioned in the interviews with JB and with Mark Gliddon about more football on a Friday night. It allows players, especially players who've got young boys who play on Saturday mornings, to be able to go out and watch the youngsters. And it also then gives the opportunity for 3 games to be to get some coverage. What are your thoughts, mate?
I think it's a great idea. I think that they should look at it more regularly. It gives the players a bit more time to recover as well, theoretically, and perhaps get out on the weekend have a beverage or two as well before they've
Yeah.
got to get back into the regime.
Yeah, obviously, I think in the past the problem has been always because it's Friday night football and the NRL. Well, really, if you want to watch the NRL or watch the Intrust Super Cup, it's chalk and cheese. I just love the Intrust Super Cup, the way they play footy at the moment. It's just enterprising stuff. It's not as structured as league. And as I've always said, the Intrust Super Cup, you play to win. The NRL, you play not to lose. For my, I don't know your thoughts, Gav.
Yeah, look, I think they play to win everywhere. I just think it's a bit more free flowing, the Queensland Cup than the NRL type league. So yeah.
Yep. Your thoughts on the Leagues Club and Sports Bar and the Leagues Club?
Yeah, I think it's great. I've been. We had one years and years ago when I was playing down here, and it hasn't been there for a long time since the new development. And I think it's a great idea. It allows you to get in there and perhaps not play up, but be a little more unruly than they would allow in the Leagues Club.
I got a feeling.
Being a football
I got a feeling why the sports bar closed down. Gav was the last one in there, but anyway, we'll see what happens. But yeah, good to catch up with the Leagues Club. Please support those who support your football team. We talk about Totally Workwear and we talk about Suzuki, but the Leagues Club, it's a great night out there. Plenty of good food there and plenty of opportunities and big things happening soon. UFC, mate.
You might be involved.
Me and Gal.
Tag team.
Yeah, I'll be in the first minute. See you all next week. Thanks for tuning in to League and More. We'll be back again. And good luck on Friday night against the Bears.